Well, how is your view of President Bush, how has your view of President Bush changed from when he was sworn in January 21st of 2001 to, or let's even go a little further, to that fateful day of 9/11 when he was riding high in the polls, to today? How has your own view of him evolved, and where is it now, as he's in the last year of his presidency?
Mr. Bush decided to use a weapon that Soviet Union used, Adolf Hitler did, scaring a living shit out of the people and creating a certain subordinates because of fear. Al-Qaeda will come, Al-Qaeda will do this, Al-Qaeda. We have bloody created Al-Qaeda. We have invited trouble. And his promises in 2001 and realities through 7.5 years are like day and night, where unfortunately we are right in the middle of the night. So, the solution? I don't see a solution. When I worked for the Central Intelligence Agency, I was not doing the solutions, I was doing the information. I was gathering those little bricks that somebody smart, intelligent, and educated in this line should put on top of each other to build a security wall for this country. Have they? I don't think so. Will they? I don't think so. So what is the future? I do not have my crystal ball in front of me. I think that the future looks grim. That's what I see.
How about the difference between the current Bush 43, so-called Bush 43, the current president, and his father, Bush 41? Because you were in the Central Intelligence Agency. President Bush 41 was a director of Central Intelligence. What's the key difference between the father and the son there?
I think that the father was much smarter. At least he did not go into Iraq at the same time. Well, the son was much less intelligent, and I hope that the Central Intelligence Agency will listen to this tape once it is on internet and realize that I am not an enemy and I'm not a solution, and people like me, we are not enemies, we are not a solution. We hope for a solution. We are waiting for a solution. It is them, when I worked in US Congress, I met congressmen, senators. I remember me asking a senator from Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, it was in August 2001, and I wrote in a report that we might be in danger, under attack soon. And I asked him, did you ever read this report? He said, oh, probably one of my staffers did. So who is governing this country? The staffers, the Senate, the Congress, the White House, the Pentagon, the CIA, who? If we can spend billions of dollars keeping this fiction of democracy in Israel, keeping hate inside Palestine among Palestinians, we will always suffer consequences of this, what we do. Israel as a country should make peace with its neighbors. Israel that suffered, Jewish people that suffered so much under Adolf Hitler, should understand other people's suffering. Obviously, they don't. We all have stomachs and feet to wear shoes on, and we all have children that have to go to school, and that should include Palestinians, Israelis, American children, British, Polish, French, all. America is a troublemaker right now. That's what America is. God save America. I wouldn't say anything else. God bless America. Well, God save America. Shall we end on this?
But one last.
Please go.
The president is going to go into Sochi, which is, I understand, a resort city in Russian Federation, and he's going to meet a man who he said he started off his administration by saying he had recognized the goodness in President Putin, that he could actually read his soul, that he was a good man. We also know...
You mean crystal ball again?
We also know that President Putin is a very highly educated person. He's also been in the KGB. He's an intelligence officer like you. And I think a lot of Americans are wondering whether our own president is at a disadvantage, that he might be outgunned by a world leader of a country as large and at least full of resources as Russia, but also by the man himself, that President Putin might outshine President Bush. And you know the Russians, you also know their intelligence service.
I met Mr. Putin.
Mm-hmm.
I met Mr. Putin when he was undercover of a press attaché in Vienna, Austria, in the Soviet embassy. He is not a very large man. He's a quiet man. He's intelligent. He's very smart. He doesn't want to talk pidgin English, so he speaks Russian on television, so nobody can make fun of him. He doesn't say nuclear war. His English, as far as I know, is probably better than Mr. Bush.
Mm.
He is more intelligent. He is more shrewd. He's a builder.
Mm.
He was constructive president. He took Russia during 8 years out of 19th century and put Russia into 21st century.
Mm-hmm.
What Mr. Bush did, he took America from 21st century and put us back into 1929.
Mm.
That's a difference. Can Mr. Putin outgun Mr. Bush? Oh, please, he won't even have to try.
Mm. But you're not saying you like President Putin. You're
Hell
just
no.
recognizing his skill and...
Look, I can appreciate somebody's intelligence. I can admire somebody's smartness and skills. At the same time, it doesn't mean that I love or like the person.
Mm.
But I admire Mr. Putin, as I said, from taking Russia from 19th century poverty right into the 21st century, technology, standard of living, etc., etc.
But what would you say to the American side as they're sitting across the table from President Putin and his aides? What would you say as an intelligence officer, knowing also President Putin was an intelligence officer, what is his greatest skill that they should watch out for? In the same way that, say, President Kennedy should have watched out for something that President Khrushchev had, or General Secretary Khrushchev had.
The difference will be that Mr. Putin will add 2 and 2, and it will always come 4. And I don't think that Mr. Bush can add 5 and 5.
Thank you, Boris.
Pleasure.